Hey everybody, Cole here with Classic Mini DIY, and on today's episode, I'm doing something I arguably should have done a long time ago, and that's install a dash cam, so stay tuned. Now, this installation can actually be pretty simple if you have a cigarette lighter or a 12-volt plug already, because if you don't care about hiding wires and kind of setting everything up really hidden and discreet, then you can just plug it straight into a cigarette lighter, stick this up on the window, and you're done. But in my car, I don't want it to be visible. I don't want it to be something that is super like clear, like, hey, look, I have a dash cam on my car. I want it hidden and I want my wires concealed. So on today's episode, I'm gonna go and find a way to hide the wires, mount this dash cam, probably right up around here somewhere, so it's behind the mirror, and we'll get it all hidden up in there, and I'll show you guys how to hardwire it to your electrical system. So if you want to tackle this on your Classic Mini, you have the tools to do that. Now before we get started, I do want to mention some stuff because this is probably going to be the last video I release before the International Mini Meet, which is next week, and I cannot express to you guys how excited I am, but two things. One, I just released a brand new leather piece. It's a keychain, which should be popping up on the side of the screen here. This is a custom cut, custom stitched leather keychain for your Classic Mini. Now I am partnering with Choice Cuts again on this leather work. Their company makes incredible leather accessories. If you haven't seen, he's already made fuel bibs for the Classic Mini, so if that's something that you might be interested in picking up, head over to my merch store in the links below. But like I said, we now carry keychains, and now they're in 3 different colors with 3 different designs. If you consider no design a design, those also will be getting fulfilled while I'm gone. So if you guys want to place an order while I'm at IMM, don't worry, those are going to get shipped out still, and they'll make it to you guys if you're not at IMM, of course. If you are coming to IMM and you want to save a little bit of money on shipping, come and find me at the event. I'm going to bring 30 of these keychains with me, and they are going to be first come, first serve, and I will sell them to you right there in person. And I can sell those to you right there in person. You can pick it up. You don't have to pay for shipping and none of the other fuss around getting that to you guys. So if that's something you're interested in, come and find me at the event. I'll be around, or you can meet me at the main hall on Sunday. That's at 11 a.m. We're gonna be doing a meet and greet, and you can pick up a keychain there as well. So aside from that, let's get into doing a dash cam install here. Should be, hopefully, pretty straightforward, but you know, it's a Mini, things happen. Now, if you guys don't know, there was a recent incident in which someone pulled out in front of me, ran me into a curb, and caused quite a bit of damage to my front suspension. And I have a dash cam in my modern car. I have always had a dash cam in pretty much every modern car since about 2012, but for whatever reason, I didn't have a dash cam in my Mini. I guess I was just putting it off because I was being lazy. The dash cam I chose is made by a company called Aukey. I have no idea if it's good or not, but it's a nice small dash cam. It's a 1080p camera, and it's gonna fit really nicely right behind my little mirror up here, which is gonna be great. It also has the ability to go almost perfectly perpendicular here, which is a big deal because the Mini's windshield is actually quite steep in comparison to most modern cars. So it's important that this is able to point forward and point in the direction so you can actually see what's in front of you. Now, this dash cam I did pick up on Amazon. I do have links in the description. Those are affiliate links, so if you guys pick up the same camera with those links, it does give me a little bit of money for referring you. So if you want to support the channel in that way, that would be great. But this is a very small camera, 1080p. They do also carry a 4K version of this camera, and I also picked up a Hardwire Kit with a voltage regulator, and I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. But for right now, let's take this dash panel off right here because I am going to need to get in here to hide the wiring. And what I'm also going to do is pull the headliner down here. The Mark I is a 2-piece headliner kit, and I'm hoping I can hide the wire behind the lip up here, but let's see what we can do. Now, you can see here, I've got my 2 sun visors, and my headliner kind of pops into place here. The easiest way to get it out is actually in the back. It's too difficult for me to show you guys this, but the front piece of the headliner kind of needs to shift backwards a little bit, and then it should come unsnapped pretty well. I haven't taken this out since I put it in, so hopefully everything comes out the way it needs to. Now, as you can see, got the headliner down. You can also see how I have a certain amount of sound deadening up here. This is a really great place to kind of address any sort of reverberation that you might have on the Mini. The roof tends to make things echo. Now, the other thing that I was hoping, and not everyone is gonna have the solution here, but let me rotate this so you can see it a little bit better. Now, on the side of my car here, I have a new wiring harness, and this is one of the benefits of having a new wiring harness. This is for an overhead light. So if there was a light attached and in the center for you know, seeing at night inside your car, the Mark 1 doesn't have this. So this has been sitting up here naked and alone for all this time. And what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be using this as my power source for the dash cam. So I'm gonna splice into this, figure out which one of these is the positive end. I'm also hoping that these circuits are always on, because if they are always on, my voltage regulated power source is gonna work really, really well. So I'll explain that here in a second, but let me get my test light here. I'm gonna strip these wires and I'm gonna see if they're on right now, or if I need to engage my key and see and turn them on that way. So as you guys can see here, I've connected one end of my test light onto the black wire here. Then on the other end, I have my other wire here. And when we complete the circuit, you can see the light comes on. And what that means is this is an always on circuit. What we'll do next is test to see which end of this line here is your ground and which one is the hot side. So I have a feeling that the black end is my ground, but we can test that by finding some bare metal and completing the circuit to the body of the car, which is also a ground. So in this case, it appears that the purple line is our hot line and the black line is our ground. So just as I suspected, we can disconnect that. And now you want to take care to keep this from touching anything. But what this will allow us to do is now wire up the dash cam. So now let's have a little conversation about our voltage regulator. The way that this is set up and what this is made to do is provide a battery safe always on dash cam. So what'll happen is this end will get plugged into your dash cam via the mini USB. Some dash cams use micro USB, so make sure you pick up the right one for you. And then this has a safety in it. And what it's doing is measuring the voltage of your battery at all times so that it can continuously run. So the dash cam is literally always gonna be on. It's always gonna be recording and overwriting the content as it records the stuff, which means that your car is effectively visually protected at all times, which is a really, really great thing. And this little voltage regulator makes sure that you don't burn out the battery and kill the battery in your car. Once the battery gets down to a certain voltage limit, this will cut the camera off so that your battery doesn't die and you can always start your car. Now this side is pretty straightforward. Normally, you would connect one end to a hot line, specifically a 12-volt line, and then this end will get connected to a ground. And so what they're assuming here is that you're going to ground it directly to the body via maybe a screw, something like that. But in my case, I have a specific ground wire, so I'm going to cut this and splice it directly to the ground. This will go to the hot line, and this actually has an internal fuse on it, which is going to add that level of protection. Thankfully too, because the circuit is unused but is used in the car and it has power, it has its own fuse too. If it didn't, you would want to add an inline fuse on this line to protect your dash cam and also to protect the electrical system in your car. In my case, it's not necessary because I already have them present, but it's something that I wanted to make sure you guys knew. So what we'll do now is go ahead and splice these suckers together and then we'll complete this circuit and install the dash cam. I'm thankful that this is here because it's gonna make it really easy. Also, this little adapter here is gonna fit perfectly right down in this channel, safe, out of the way, and that's gonna be great. I am gonna get a little bit of 3M tape and tape this to the inside there just so it doesn't rattle around, because I imagine that could make a little bit of noise. So one thing you want to do is give a little tug on each of these lines to make sure that they are in good shape and they're not going to come undone. Next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and wrap these in some Tessa tape, and that is going to help protect them as well. In the event that these crimps ever become disconnected, the Tessa tape is going to keep it from grounding itself out on the body. Now I'm sure I'm gonna get a little grit about not using any heat shrink or anything, but you guys are just gonna have to deal with it. Now before we go any further, let's test to make sure that the camera turns on and the power works. So we got our little green light there. Wait for the screen to come on just to verify that as well. There we go. Got a brand new little dash cam here. And so there we go. You can see that it's on. Got a little camera feed, and it is looking great. The only thing left to do will be to add a card, but I'm gonna add all that stuff after we've got all of this wired up nice and tidy. It's time to add a little tape to this here, and we'll stick it on the inside here. Just gave myself the heebie-jeebies, sticking my fingers up there. Who knows how many monsters are up there, but go ahead and stick that up there. All right, so that's stuck up there. Gonna shove our wires up there as well, hide them away, just like that. And next, we'll run our wires all the way around to the front here. There's a lot of excess cable here, what we're definitely not gonna need, so that'll get stuffed up here, and we'll only run what we need. All right, and there we go. So now we have it all wired up. As you can see, I stuck it to the windshield. It's pretty much ready to roll now. The only thing left to do is reinstall our headliner here so we can kind of get a see, and hopefully this will sit down at least tight enough to keep that wire there and it won't look too bad. As of right now though, that is the only wire that we're gonna see. So pretty pleased with that so far. All right, so as you guys can see, we have a really nicely set up discrete dash cam run to a hard wire that's up in the ceiling. So I didn't even have to run this down into the dash, which I'm really excited about. And obviously got that added level of protection. Now, a couple things to keep in mind. If you guys don't have the light up on the ceiling here, or maybe you don't have the wires for those, you can still tap into the line that's running across your ceiling. There are hot wires in there that you can splice into. You're just gonna need to get a different type of tester, one that uses electromagnetic testing, and that's a test light you can pick up at Advanced Auto or on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description. But in most cases, you'll probably have this overhead light circuit to use, and you can tap right into it. And if you already have a light that's run up into your ceiling, you can still splice into the hot and the ground line on that circuit and still use it in the same way that I am up here. But if you guys have any questions about the way that I have this set up, obviously post them in the comments section below. But let's pop outside the car and take a look at how this looks from the outside to see how discreet this is. So I will say, I think I am pretty pleased with this. I do wish that this piece of tape was black, but it is gray. I guess gray is not the end of the world, but it sticks on there really nice. It looks pretty discreet. It's up there near the mirror, so I don't think it'll stand out a lot, but even if it does, I guess it's not the end of the world for people to know that they're being recorded, especially when, it's in relation to my pride and joy here. So again, if you guys have any questions about this, how I wired it up, where it's wired, anything like that, obviously post them in the comment section below and I'll be happy to help you guys out. Also, as I mentioned, keychains are now available in the store and I will be bringing 30 of them to the International Mini Meet if you want to pick one up when you see me there. So until the next video and until the International Mini Meet, I will catch you guys on the flip side, and enjoy those minis and motor on.